April 1st, 3:15 p.m. Eastern Standard. Not an April Fool's Day joke. Today we're going to talk through a speculation that I have for the markets. And if you'll give me a second, I'm going to just pause this, make sure that my microphone is turned up so you can hear me nice and clear. All right, so I've noticed my new headset mic's been a little bit low, so hopefully that will help. What did we see yesterday? I thought was really interesting. So we had a deep Friday sell-off, and then going into Monday, we had kind of a continuation pattern here. So we've been seeing this just monstrous decline on the NASDAQ. We see a little bit of buying pressure. We bounced and sold off the 200-day moving average, this purple line. And then Friday, we just had this monster red candle going into the following week, which was yesterday on Monday. And then we saw that continuation. And then what did we see? We saw a reversal before the close. And then we actually rebounded all the way from 457 to 470 on the NASDAQ. And then today, seeing a little bit upside. We were up and now we're neutral, been up and down. Same thing with VTI, the total stock market index. And we had the same thing. We had deep selling pressure, bounced, sold off Friday, Monday, deeper selling pressure, and then we finally are catching a bid. Now I want to do a quick Fibonacci here as well. Top was right around there. Yeah, I actually bounced off the 618. That's what that was. Bounce there, rebound, bounce. So I'm going to make a prediction. Now before I do that, I want to get one more Fibonacci level on the NASDAQ, which has had a little bit of a deeper correction. And I think we're going to be about the same if we look at it here. Right around the 618 is what we're hovering at. It's actually looking like it was below, but it didn't close below, and it's rebounding. It's probably going to close above it today. Tomorrow's Liberation Day, right? We're talking about big tariffs, big tariff news. All countries getting tariffed by the US. The main question here is, are tariffs actually going to be enacted by the Trump administration and then held on to? Or are we going to see this as a negotiation lever to improve trade agreements? I suspect the latter. And the other thing I'm going to highlight is I think this correction may be over. A lot of people are talking about tomorrow being, big down day, tariffs, uncertainty. Tariffs are not good for the economy. Things are going to sell off, and then we're maybe going to get a rebound after we get a deeper correction. I think we had the deeper correction. And if you think from a Max Pain perspective on the NASDAQ or the S&P, we'll actually look at NQ here. If you think from a Max Pain perspective, you've had people that are saying, we're going to get a rebound, we're going to sell off the 200, which we did. We're going to get a little bit of a bounce, and then we're going to head lower. And people are talking about buying the dip when it gets lower. What would cause the max pain, in my opinion, is if we simply head higher, right? Everybody's expecting lower, buy the dip, head higher. People are not heavily bullish right now because they're expecting another dip or another leg lower before going long. So what would be the max pain trade here is if we just ripped higher. And this 200-day moving average, if we blow through that and just head higher, I think that's the max pain trade. And if you think about Monday, anybody who went short here that thought this is the time to go, it's going to sell off, tariffs, Liberation Day, those guys are all out of the money. And anybody that's gone long, or that was long here, let's say after the sell-off on Friday, where are you going to put your stop? You're going to put a stop loss right there. What happens? We get liquidated, we go below it, and then we rebound, we recover, and now we're trading higher. So that's the max pain I think that's already played out. We've seen the longs get liquidated, and we've seen the shorts get liquidated. So now, what's the market doing today? It's just heading higher. Things are a little neutral on S&P. We were higher throughout the day. Things are up a little bit on the NASDAQ. People are obviously worried. That's why we're neutral about tomorrow. My speculation is we head higher if we cannot close below the low from yesterday. So the NASDAQ and the S&P, if we do not close below these levels, here. We're really on, I like VTI a little bit better. We had the dip below. VTI and QQQ. We don't close below those lows of Monday. We may go below it, but I don't know if we'll close below it. If we don't close below it, I think we head higher from here. Sure, things may chop around. It's not going to go straight up. We might bounce off the 200, and then we might make a higher low and then head higher. But if we do not close below that low from Monday on the NASDAQ or on the S&P, I think we head higher here. I don't think I think that's the bottom of this move. I don't see any other way that we go lower. So that's my speculation. If I'm wrong, which I think is a lower probability, but it's still always a possibility, I've got a chart here. I've got a couple lines that I've made. So this is my buy zone. I'm calling this the buy zone. Okay. We're already down about 8-9% at this zone here, the entry of the buy zone. If we enter this zone and then we head lower, you know, the lowest we're probably going to head is this correction of August. So we may get a move down back to there before we head higher. And I'm going to be accumulating in this range. So if we head back down 10%, I'll add a little bit. I'm going to rotate some out of bonds. If we had 15% correction, I'm going to rotate out more of bonds into buying the dip. If we head to a 20% correction, which is right around this full retracement, which I don't suspect we're going to go all the way down all the way, but if we did, or anywhere near it, I'm going to rotate the last third out of bonds, TLT, into the market. So that's my strategy. If we're heading lower here, I'm going to come up with some dry powder, and that's my strategy here. I'm going to come up with some dry powder if we continue lower, and I'm going to buy the dip even further. And if we head higher, then great. So either way is going to work out just fine. We will rotate out of TLT if we do have a steeper correction. I suspect this is the gist of it for now. Economy looks healthy. The tariff fear news is just, I think, going to blow over as a negotiation tactic, and Trump will have his bluff called, and things will ease, volatility will lower. That's my speculation. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll talk about it in the next video. We'll buy the dip and we'll go from there. So appreciate you guys listening. We'll talk again soon. Thanks.